exactly 2:17 a.m., the rain stopped falling. Not slowly, not naturally. Every drop froze in the air, suspended like shards of glass. A car stalled mid-turn. A streetlight flickered once and stayed half-lit. And in the middle of the road, a man was still moving. His foot lifted. His shadow shifted. Time had stopped for the entire town of Greyhaven. But not for him. For 60 seconds, the world held its breath. And whatever moved during those 60 seconds was never the same again. Greyhaven is the kind of town people forget to notice. No landmarks, no highways running through it. Just a quiet place surrounded by dense forest, where phone signals weaken and GPS directions hesitate. People who arrive here describe the same feeling, like stepping into a photograph taken a few seconds too late. The locals are calm, overly calm. Shops close early, streets empty before midnight, and every clock in town is perfectly synchronized. No one asks why, because Greyhaven has learned something important. Time behaves differently here. Ethan Cole arrived chasing patterns. A physicist obsessed with anomalies, he found Greyhaven buried inside online reports. Power outages, missing security footage, unexplained pauses in recorded audio. Urban legends dismissed as glitches. The first rule he learned was unspoken. No one is outside after 2 a.m. The second rule came from a whisper in a late-night diner. Don't move when it happens. No one explained what it was. On his first night, Ethan stayed awake. At 2:16 a.m., every sound softened. At 2:17, silence collapsed. The ticking clock froze. The hum of electricity died mid-breath. Outside his window, a bird hung motionless in the air. And then Ethan heard footsteps. Slow, intentional. Something was walking through a frozen world. Against every instinct, Ethan stepped outside the next night. He wanted proof. 2:17 a.m. The world stopped again. This time, Ethan moved. The air resisted him, thick like invisible water. Each step felt wrong, as if reality itself objected. That's when he saw them. People frozen mid-motion along the street. Eyes open, mouths locked in silent screams. They weren't statues. They were paused. Then one of them blinked. Time hadn't stopped. It had been redirected, and something beneath the town was watching. The ground vibrated. A low hum rose from below, old and mechanical. The frozen figures slowly turned their heads toward Ethan. Their movements were unnatural, delayed, broken. They spoke together. You shouldn't move during the pause. Cracks split the pavement. Cold white light spilled from beneath the street. Ethan understood then. The 60-second stop wasn't an accident. It was a containment window. Time was being paused to keep something trapped underground. And every night, the pause grew harder to maintain. Decades earlier, Greyhaven housed a secret experiment. Scientists tried to compress time, to pause moments, stretch seconds, control flow itself. They succeeded. But they fractured something fundamental. Not a creature, not a machine, a moment. A broken fragment of time that became aware it was trapped. The pause was never meant to last forever. It needed a stabilizing force. Someone anchored inside the fracture. The frozen people weren't victims. They were locks. and the system was failing. On the final night, the pause began early, 2:15 a.m. The town trembled, buildings flickered in and out of existence. Ethan stood at the center of Greyhaven as time collapsed around him. The frozen figures stepped forward, not human anymore, but echoes. Time must move, they said. Ethan made the choice no one remembered making before. He stepped fully into the fracture. At 2:18 a.m., time resumed. Greyhaven returned to normal. Roads led away again, shops reopened. The town forgot. One name vanished from every record, Ethan Cole. But every night, at exactly 2:17 a.m., the clocks hesitate, just for a second, as if remembering the man who moved when he shouldn't have. And beneath Greyhaven, time is still waiting for the next mistake.